When I was a kid, I learned that two wrongs don't make it right. So if I'm angry at you and I begin to spit disgraceful and hateful things towards you, how is you coming back and doing that same thing right? It's not. So what I want to challenge you guys today, what I want to challenge each and every one of you to do, is to meet anger with love instead of meeting anger with anger. As I tell you guys every day, every week.
Hey guys, welcome back. I was kind of like, I almost tear up every time I hear him talk like that. Officer Joshua Scales is joining us today. I'm just going to bring him in here because I could sit and talk about you behind your back for forever, but it would all be good. Welcome, Officer Scales. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for the warm welcomes.
You're welcome. Are you okay with, because I have to, my manners, and I should have asked you this off camera. Are you okay with me calling you Joshua, or should I stick with Officer Scales?
Yeah, you can call me Joshua. That's fine.
Okay. I have to make sure.
Even make it better.
Okay. I have to make sure that my mama is proud of me and that I don't, that officers are to be called officers. So I don't want to do anything that my mama's going to come through that door at me at. How you doing?
I'm great, man. I hope you are.
We're doing great. So you're in North Carolina. I know it's hot here in Kentucky. What's it like going on with weather-wise down there for you all?
Hey, I mean, it's hot. It's hot. It was, I think, today, it was like 102, 103.
And that's like actual temperature, right? Or is that with heat? That's not with heat index.
No, it's pretty hot. It's pretty hot.
You all have crazy hot weather.
Yeah. And then I was just telling one of my coworkers, I was like, it is worse because we're walking around with these vests on. So it's kind of like it gets trapped inside of your vest and it's not going anywhere.
So about how much additional weight are you carrying?
It depends on what uniform you're wearing. But your everyday uniform, you're probably carrying an additional 20, 25 pounds of weight.
Yeah. Look, I can't carry a gallon of milk too much further in like shorts and a tank top. I can't imagine having on all of that.
Yeah,
because I've got to sit down and rest for a few minutes in this heat, and it's not even actual of 102 here in Kentucky. So goodness gracious, you definitely have to be fit then.
Yeah, it's definitely an ideal situation to be in shape and take care of your body and make sure you're hydrated and stuff like that. So.
Well, and I mean, let's talk about that for a second, because I introduced you as Officer Joshua Scales, but there's other things that encompass who you are. You are a former pro arena football player, so you're definitely in shape. You're a musical artist, a motivational speaker, a police officer. Wow. I mean, are you just an overachiever?
Pretty much. Absolutely. After I do one thing for a while, I'm like, what else can I do to add on to my resume? So pretty much. Absolutely.
Okay. So tell us how, because I've kind of read a little bit of your story, but what it did was made me want to know more. Because you talk about being a police officer and you're 27 years old. Did I get that?
Correct.
Okay. Both of my children or one of my oldest is older than you. Oh, I'm so old. But talk about this. There was a time that you had to kind of reevaluate things and figure out what you were going to do next. Yeah. So talk to us about that, because it's an interesting story.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was a time where, I necessarily felt like maybe being a police officer wasn't what my calling was. I was a police officer, but it became one of those things that, like, every day you ask for a call and it's just like, all right, here we go again. And I felt like I was losing the passion for it. So at that time I was on patrol. And if you guys don't know what patrol is pretty much the cops that you see every day that are there. When you call, that's who you're going to get. Most of the time you're going to get the patrol division that shows up at your door, takes the reports. That's what I was doing. So that became tedious, dealing with the same people over and over again, some of the same situations over and over again. So I saw Kevin comment. So I was in that aspect of like, I don't know if I could do this for the rest of my life. Because when I got into law enforcement, I said, this is my dream job. I love it. I'm gonna retire from it. First generation cop, pretty much. Like nobody in my like immediate family is a law
Right.
enforcement officer. So, so like it just became to a point where I just became so depressed in what I was doing that everything else just was an added stress. I had a kid who I thought was mine, and I began to father this kid when I was in high school. I was like 17 years old. Began to father him. And then I found out 7 years down the road that he wasn't my kid.
Oh.
And that was probably one of the most heartbreaking things for me ever. So when I found that out, kind of fell into this deep, like depression. And I just mentally, my mindset was just not where it needed to be. To the point where going to work was kind of a dangerous situation because being a police officer is already dangerous enough. But my head was not there with being a police officer. It's more so, man, I'm here because I have to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I I'm sorry. I was a high school. Yeah, I was a high school football coach as well. I forgot about that. So I got to a point where I really didn't know what I was gonna do. I felt like God, like I got a bigger purpose than what I'm doing right now in my life, and couldn't figure out what it was. So, like I said, fell into that deep, dark depression. One day I was laying on the couch watching a movie. The name of the movie was I'm in Love with a Church Woman. And there was a scenario where a guy who didn't necessarily grow up the best, didn't necessarily always do the right things in life, who fell in love with a girl who was from a church. She's a very, very church going, God-fearing woman. Anyway, fell in love. She got him going to church. He started turning his life around, leaving some of those things behind, that, the negative things behind. They're about to get married. She gets in a car wreck and she is unconscious. She's in a coma. She's unconscious. I mean, they don't know if she's gonna make it. I mean, I remember him, like, after having so much pain and so much hate, I remember him leaving her bedside and going to the chapel in the hospital and just pretty much breaking down and crying and say, God, listen, like, I've given you everything. Like, I've done everything you asked me to do. I've read every chapter, every verse in he described it as your precious little book, but it's obviously the Bible.
Right.
He said, I read every chapter, I read every verse in your precious little book. I didn't say anything when you took my mom from me. Like, that almost killed me, but I didn't say anything. You know what I'm saying? But you can't take Vanessa from me. Like, I ain't gonna let that happen. Like, if it comes down to it, take me instead. Like, I'm the one that's done all the bad. I surrender to you.
Right.
I give you my heart. I open my heart to you. What else you want me to do? And that scene literally brought me to tears. Like, it was like, wow.
I mean, look, see, you're even talking about it. Like, I don't even know why I bother putting makeup on for any of these interviews.
So I don't mean to make you cry.
No, I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've all been to a point where we're like, what are we going to do?
Right.
And finally it's like, oh, okay. I surrender, and
right.
I get it. I don't control it. You do. Right. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Absolutely. I love the interactions. So that's exactly what it was. Like, hey, like, God, I surrender. Like, I can't run from this anymore. And I knew I couldn't run anymore because for a while, like, I was going to church and then I stopped going to church. And then it became like one of those things where people were like, hey, man, I really love for you to come to church. I'm like, oh, man, maybe next Sunday. I got to work. Like, I was making excuses. And, like, something inside of me just didn't feel right. Like, sometimes, like, when people would ask me to go to church, like, I felt like a sense of, like, anger or resentment. And I didn't know exactly what it was. But, like I said, when this scene happened and I felt myself begin to cry, and I literally said in my heart, literally said in my soul, and said, God, this is it. You're speaking to me. And that is when I was like, listen, God, I need you to show me my purpose. I need you to show me my purpose. I need you to show me what you want me to do. And then maybe shortly after that, maybe a month or so, I signed a football contract to play professional football. I thought this was probably the biggest achievement of my life. Like this is what I've been hoping for. I mean, it's not as great as going to the NFL, but at the same time, I'm a professional football player. Like,
Right.
like
Right.
not many kids can say they got paid to play football. So with that being said, I left my previous PD, with chasing a dream. I mean, that's my motto. If you follow me, that's
Yeah.
one of my mottos is chase your dream. So that's what I was doing. I was chasing my dream. I got there. I was in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was playing for the Triangle Torch. I got there. Things didn't necessarily go like I thought it was going to go. I coming in, the coaches talked highly about me, about how great of a player I was. So I thought I was going to get there and just pretty much automatically have a starting position. When I got there, I didn't necessarily. The first game came along. I didn't even suit up. I didn't even dress out. The thing about professional arena football is they only dress 21 people out. All right. There's typically 30 people on the team, and they only dress 21 out. So I didn't dress. I was kind of discouraged. I was like, Coach, like I've been working my butt off. I've been studying film, doing everything that you've asked me to do. My buddy Kevin. What up, Kevin?
Speaking of Officer Udi.
So doing everything that I needed to do to be a proficient player at a professional level. With that being said, he was like, listen, I understand, the guys playing in front of you, they're seasoned vets. They know the game, they know what to do. And that's all I'm trying to do is hone you into the game. So pretty much the season went on. And I ended up playing in like 3 of the games. But that was really it. But it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. So now I'm really like at this point of God, like I left my career to come play football because I thought this was a dream that I wanted to chase. But it's not going like a dream. It's more of a nightmare at this point in time. So I began to pray, God, I'm trusting you. I'm trusting the process. Like, but it's hard. It's hard. And I'm still in a low set of my mindset still a little down. It's like it's a little down. So I'm still trying to figure things out. And I remember while I was working for Morehead City Police, I was asked by a church to come and speak to the youth. I was real big with the youth. I love kids. So I was asked by a church to come speak with the youth. I did that. I thought the speech was mediocre in my eyes, but apparently everybody thought it was some great speech. The word got out. Numerous other places started asking me to come speak. So I found out that I had a knack for speaking to people. So while I'm going through this dark period of time, I started making videos of motivation. And I started posting those videos, and I started getting a lot of feedback from those videos. This is exactly what we needed to hear. This is exactly what I needed. You're so good at speaking to people. And deep down inside, people didn't even realize that really these videos aren't for you. These videos are for me. I just happen to be posting them because I'm trying to hide how miserable I am. I walk around with a smile on my face and everybody sees me joking and but I'm actually hiding all the pain and the hurt that you guys can't see because I'm trying so hard to keep that hidden. But that is when I was just sitting there one day and I was like, you know what? I'm pretty good at this motivational speaking stuff. I should maybe I'll try my hand at it. And then I said, well, God, like, okay, where do you want me to go with this? And I started reading the Bible and I started saying, hey, what kind of name can I come up with for my brand, my business? And that is when Proverbs popped in my head. And Proverbs is based on knowledge, right? So I like to be a knowledgeable person. I like to know as much as I can about whatever subject or whatever topic it is.
Right.
With that being said, that's where I got the Proverbs Productions and Motivation part from, because obviously it's motivational, but I also create my own music, create my own videos, create my own content. So that's where the production part came from.
Right.
And like it really was just like took off from there. Like the first year was kind of slow. I was getting all my, my merch together, my exactly what my mission statement was. And it was kind of slow. And I'm probably like 2.5 years in, and it's really just starting to pick up for me. But I mean, it's just been a great journey. It's been a great adventure. like I said, and God has just really blessed me to even bring me from that dark period in life to where I am now. And I will say, like, I'm probably like, I thought when I first became a police officer that like that was the happiest moment of my life. But I can honestly say that I've never been as happy with my life as I am today. And that's I mean that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm trying
Like,
not to
look,
go into
I
that
just want, look,
motivational mode, 'cause,
I'm just gonna sit back and
yeah, I'm trying not
I
to be
just,
like
no, no, it's great because nobody can tell your story like you can.
absolutely.
And nobody can tell it with the passion and the enthusiasm and the down parts like you can.
Right.
So no, I'm glad. Look, I don't have anywhere to be. I'm not on a time limit, and I don't want you to be either. I want you, because when I watch some of the TikTok, and look, I got in late on the game of TikTok, and it was a quarantine thing, kind of like the video your mom said she quarantined TikTok. Yes. Did you ever call her back, by the way?
Yeah, I talked to her.
All right.
I've been calling her.
All right, Mama, I
I've been
got your
calling her like
back.
every day. She's probably gonna be watching this right now too.
Okay, well, if Mama's in here, please say hello to us. Because I was thinking, boy, you better call your mother back.
That's what everybody was thinking. Everybody was like, "Oh, you better
Because
call
I was thinking if my son, I would have done the same thing. Like, what? I saw what you've been posting. Although she has to be extremely proud of her son, because these videos, yes, you have some funny content in there too. We can find funny all day long on TikTok.
Absolutely.
We cannot find, and I don't know, because, and in case you all don't know, and it's no secret because he talks about it in some of the videos, you have one blue eye and one brown eye.
Yeah.
But there is something about when you look in that camera and you're like, hey, you, I'm talking to you. It's like, I'm going to pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's the sincerity that you give us too. Oh, there's Mama.
There she go. Look. What's up, Mom?
She's here and proud, and you have every reason to be. You have touched me and some of the things that have been going on in my life a lot with some of those videos, and I've sent a couple to people that needed to hear them, who don't have TikTok or don't have social media, but they're messages that people need to hear. The "You Can't Quit" one was very powerful for me, for a lot, because look, we're all going through it right now too, and with the quarantine, and then with all the upheaval that's going on. And then it brings me to kind of what you said. You were first generation officer, and it seems that when somebody decides to become a police officer, it either is because it is something that's been handed down and it's a family tradition to do, yeah, or it is something that you feel a calling to do. Absolutely. Because you all don't make a ton of money to put your lives on the line the way you do. So
just kind of like piggybacking, not to cut you off, but just
no.
Exactly. Yeah, Kevin, I don't know why you ain't tell me that, Kevin. You should have told me that, Kevin. You're supposed to be my friend, Kevin. You ain't tell me that I had a blue eye, Kevin. But just to piggyback off of what you were just mentioning on why I decided to become a police officer, and I hope my mother doesn't mind me sharing this, but it's part of my story, it's a part of her story as well. But when I was a kid, I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but
if you do, it's okay. You're human.
So when I was a kid,
if Mama wasn't in here, you wouldn't be getting emotional. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, I remember waking up and so my dad beating my mom, and it's probably one of the most traumatic experiences I've ever been through. And I remember as a kid, when I realized what was going on, I grabbed it like a little tennis racket that we used to play with. And I remember trying to hit my dad with it. And I was a little kid, but in my head, like, I'm helping, I'm intervening. And I'll never forget my mom screamed and said, "Call the police." And I went to run, get the phone, and when I went to get the phone, my dad ripped the phone out of my hand, and it ripped the line out of the wall.
Right.
So at that point in time, I couldn't call the police. But I remember my mom, like that intervention that I had, helped distract my dad from what was going on with him and my mom. And my mom was able to get away and go to the neighbor's house and call the police. So the police got there and they were like super, 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 super like charismatic. You know, they took their time to talk to me, tell me it's gonna be all right, and I'll never forget that. And even as I was growing up in a poverty-stricken neighborhood or environment that I was living in, it was tough. I mean, because we were taught not to like the police. I've had situations where I was harassed by police officers. Um, I've had situations where it was said that my cousin was killed by police officers. Um, I've had a situation where my cousin was falsely accused of committing a homicide, and he was actually just released 4 or 5 months ago. Just
Wow.
released unacquitted of that charge. So I've had every reasonable reason to hate the police. Every
Right.
reasonable reason. And I mean, it was to the point like when I was young, I was 16, 17, the police used to ride by. I used to give them the middle finger just because that's what I knew. That's what I was taught. It wasn't until I was in high school. I was a kid that got in trouble all the time because I was so angry about my dad not being. I was a great football player, standout football player, but my dad was never at my games. So with that being said, um, I, uh, I was angry. I was upset. So I got in trouble a lot. So with that, me being in trouble, I had a really, really, really close relationship with the school resource officer. Really, really close relationship. And he came up to me one day, was like, "Hey man, you ever thought about being a cop?" I said, "Dude, I hate the cops. You the coolest cop I know." And I said, "The only reason I talk to you is because you're cool. Um, but I hate the police." And he's like, "Listen, man, we got an explorers program at the police department. I would really like for you to try it out." I said, "Nah, man, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that." He was like, "Bro, just try it." I said, "You know what? I'm gonna try it for you. I'm gonna try it for you." So I tried it, worked my way up through the ranks, ended up becoming a captain. Um, and During this program, we did community service projects. We did ride-alongs with the PD, and it really just as the more and more ride-alongs I got or did, the more and more respect I got from these officers, and to the point where they started treating me like a police officer, going to lunch together, working out together. Um, hey man, can you get this person's information? So I really got to experience what it was like to be a police officer before I even became a police officer.
Right.
And there was there was so many police officers that made a difference in my life. Some that I'm still in contact with today. If they're watching, I really appreciate everything you guys done for me. And it really changed my perspective of what police were. And
So the school resource officer, are you still in touch with him today?
I have went back and visited him. I've asked about him. I don't really have it. He's not on Facebook or anything, so I haven't had
Oh, we have to find him.
we have to find him.
We
Now
have
I will tell you one, because my school was a pretty big school, so we had 2 resource officers. One of them I went to what we call Salemburg, which is it's a North Carolina Justice Academy. So it's like a big academy. Look at Udi. It wasn't you, Udi. It wasn't you. So, I love you though, brother. So we had, like, North Carolina Justice Academy is a big local academy for pretty much law enforcement in North Carolina. I went back for a class there. It was a week-long class, and the instructor was actually one of my resource officers. So when he saw me, he was like, "Oh my God, like kid used to get in trouble all the time," and I look at him. But it was because of those officers that I was able to gain an experience of what police really were behind the scene, humanizing the badges we talk about every day.
Yeah, and we kind of touched on this. And again, I'm interrupting you.
Right.
We did kind of touch on this a little bit because I want to bring it up, and it's hard to bring it up because I don't, with the state of the world right now, you all are targets. You all are looked at in a way I've never seen police officers looked at. How is it for you out there every day, putting on that uniform, putting on that badge, and knowing that there are kids like you were, but now it's also kids, adults, teenagers, and a whole lot of media. And I mean, it's not just a certain, these 3 or 4 kids. It's
Right.
everybody is throwing a lot of hate your all's way as police officers. I mean,
Yeah.
what's that like?
It's tough. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to put the uniform on some days and know that you're pretty much subjecting yourself to negative comments, negative actions. It's tough, but at the same time, you do it because you know that you're making a difference. You know that there's somebody that you're going to touch. There's people out here that still support you. When this all started, some of the people that follow me know this, but when this all started, I was in my personal vehicle. I was in uniform, about to head to work, and I was getting at a local gas station. Guy gets out the car. I see him looking at me while he's driving up, and being the nature of everything that's going on, obviously that made me kind of attentive because I'm like, oh, wait a minute, like, is this guy intending to do any harm to me or whatever? So I mean, obviously my alert status went up. He walks up to me and I'm like, can I help you? And he spits at me and he's like, your uniform disgusts me. And I'm like, wow. Like, I got back in my car and I just drove away. And I'm like, like when I got to work, like I sat there for like 5 minutes in my car and kind of like disbelief and like tears begin to come to my eyes because I'm not a hateful person by any means. And to see that amount of hate distributed towards me, all because of a uniform, because of a piece of metal that I wear on my chest, was disturbing. And it bothered me, but at the same time, it got me to the point where I was like, you know what? This ain't worth it. Like, I'm gonna turn my badge in and I'm gonna go do something else. I got so many other talents that I can find a job doing something else. I'm not worried about that. But I went to a fight call, and there was a kid involved, and I remember defusing this fight, and I had to place the mother in handcuffs, which I hate doing in front of kids. But it was a situation where I had to, just to defuse the situation. The kid was screaming. I grabbed the kid, took him back over to his mother, and I was like, listen, I really need you to calm down. Like, I'm not going to take you to jail, but I really need you to calm down, all right? And the only way I can take you out of these handcuffs is if you calm down. I want to get you out of these handcuffs as quickly as possible because your son is here. And then she kind of calmed down. So went ahead, took her out of handcuffs, and everything kind of calmed down. As we're getting information, trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do, I see her son looking, and I'm like, hey, what's up, little man? And he runs up to me, and this video is actually on my TikTok.
Is that the video?
And he actually runs up to me, and he's talking to me, and he shows me his toy, and he's like, I was like, you want to give me a hug, don't you? And he's like, yeah. And he gave me a hug, and it was so heart touching because like he just went from screaming in fear to pretty much loving me. And it just, it gave me that reminder of this is why I do what I do.
Is there something that we can do? Is there something that we can do to better understand? And I mean, we as a people, not any specific group. I'm talking we as citizens to help support you all better.
I think when I talk to people, I just say that if we all respect each other, whether it's police officers respecting civilians, civilians respecting police officers, if we can respect each other, then things will be a lot better. Things will be smooth sailing, to be completely honest. It just goes back to accepting responsibility. All right, if I'm a police officer and I come to you and you've done something wrong, then unfortunately we have to accept that responsibility.
Right.
Just like me, I'm a police officer. If I do something wrong and I'm reprimanded, then I need to accept that responsibility as
Right.
well. But with that accepting the responsibility, instead of blaming it on somebody else, I still need to be respectful.
Right.
If we can get back to that, if we can get back to the I'm my brother's keeper, that mindset, I think we'd be a lot better off. And if we can get away from like, oh well, this black male did this to this white male, or this white male did this to this black male. Like, if we can get away from this color stuff, God, it would be so much better. And unfortunately, it's the media. The media is pushing that. The media is pushing that agenda. And you know, that's why, you know, I love my brother Kevin, man, and it's just funny the way we just clicked. I mean, the first day we met each other, is just we clicked, and we didn't know why we clicked, but now we're starting to see why. But the fact that me and him have very, very, very similar backgrounds. I mean, his mother, I don't know if he exposed it, but his mother went through domestic violence. My brother went through domestic violence. But at the same time, guess what? I'm a black male. He's a white male. So that shows like how similar we are.
Right.
We're just different colors. So like you might look at me and be like, oh, well, he has tattoos and earrings and long hair. So yeah, he's definitely from the hood. And then you might look at Kevin and be like, oh, he's from the suburbs. But like you sit down and you get to know us and you're like, wow, like these guys are almost the same people. You know what I mean? Like, granted, they got different characteristics and different quirks about them, but they have a lot of similar characteristics. I mean, I think a lot of people have a lot of different things in common, but you just got to get past that barrier. You got to get past that wall. You got to get past that color to see somebody's inside. And
absolutely, what a great. And this is why we love the two of you all.
Hey, listen, I don't know, man. I don't know. Somebody wanted to raffle me off the other day on TikTok. Remember that now?
Hey, that's a good idea. Let's talk about this real quick. No, wait a minute. Let me back up. Let's not talk about raffling you off. That would be a good fundraiser later between the two of you. For just like a coffee date or something, you know, just something totally innocent. Coffee with a cop.
Coffee with a cop. We used to do that too. That's crazy.
So you all, along with being friends and having these similar backgrounds, have you collaborated 6 days ago on a huge endeavor of, hey, let's raise money and give somebody a car. Absolutely. Which turned out to be astronomical. So talk about that, because that happened. You all started doing that, I think, the day after.
On Friday.
Yeah. So after Kevin and I spoke, so we didn't get the scoop on that, but
that's Kevin's fault, not mine. It's Kevin's fault.
Yeah, he was closer. You know, if you go Price is Right rules, he was closer. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what happened with that is pretty much I think maybe a week or 2 weeks maybe before that, I came to Kevin and I said, look, man, I've seen people out in the community providing like hugs to cops and like stuff like that, but you don't see cops coming out. You don't see cops coming out and giving people hugs. I said, so listen, man, why don't we get together and do something like maybe get a shirt that says, yes, I'm a cop, but I love you. And then on the back of it say free hugs. So we got those shirts generated. We made those shirts and we was like, hey, listen, man, we're going to get together. We're going to, get together, go to a park, wear these shirts, just give out hugs, give people opportunities to talk to us. We're going to go. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's another Kevin Fuller. There's another Kevin in here. So we're going to get these shirts. We're going to go out to a park, just give out hugs, just talk to people, and just have a good time with people. So, but we felt like there was more. Like we felt like there was more that we could do. So we had even talked about like purchasing a large amount of food and then going around and passing out that food to like certain families and stuff like that. So we had talked about all type of things like that. But once again, it's like there's more. Like we can do more. We're never, and that's the thing. Like
the overachievers again.
Yeah, we are never satisfied. Like we're still in the process of getting through our first campaign and letting the votes come in. But Udi and I have already been talking about, hey man, this is what we're doing next. This is what we're doing next. This is what we want to do. So it's like you know, we're never satisfied with what we have going on. So like, yo, okay, we raised almost $41,000. Next time we got to raise 80,000 or whatever it may be.
Okay,
So,
stop. Back it up. Look, you just skimmed over that like it's just something every day that happens in 5 days. You all raised $41,000.
Absolutely.
In 5 days.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kevin, you know, Kevin was the mastermind behind it. He's the one with the 1.3 million followers. I think I'm sitting at like 43,000 right now, something like that. Which is a pretty significant number. It's just not 1.3.
Yes.
But so with that being said, Kevin called me. He said, "Hey man, we about to have to take a couple of days off work." I said, "Why?" Like, why, man? Tell me what's going on. He's like, "Man, you know, I'm starting this campaign called USA Card Campaign." I said, "Okay, what's up? Tell me about it." He said, "Well, look, man, I asked my followers, you know, 3% of them would provide $1, donate $1, then we'll be able to buy somebody a car." I said, "What?" I said, "Bro, you ain't coming to me about this earlier?" "Nah, man, I'm getting in on that." I said, "I'm gonna post a video right now. Like, I'm gonna post a video right now. Hey, baby, how are you?" I miss her so much. She's such a sweet kid. So like I said, "Well, you ain't tell me, like, we supposed to be boys. Like, you ain't tell me about this earlier." So I said, "Listen, man, I'm on board. You just tell me what you need me to do." Now, well, this is what you can do. This is what you can do. All right, cool. I didn't even get all. I was like, you know what? I'm making a video now. So I made a video like in my car right then and there. Right then and there. And then I started getting feedback as well. And then I used my PayPal, so we could start getting donations on pretty much every platform.
Right.
We just started seeing the money roll in, and we're like, wow, like it's just crazy. And then you start people like who, like, we had one person that said, "I just paid my car off last month, and so what I did is I took what I would have paid for my car payment, donated to you guys." And I'm like, so I called Kevin. I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy, bro. Like, did you see this?" And he's like, "Yeah, man. Like, we had 25K in like 2 days." You're like, wow, like it's crazy. So like the more money we started like developing, it's like even more motivating. Like, you're like, wow, it's crazy. So when we got there and we got the 40,000, it was just like one of the best feelings in the world. And me and Udi would like, if you guys could have saw us, you guys would have swore that we were like best friends. But I'm talking about like a girlfriendship. Like, oh my God, like you don't even understand, man. Like, I can't believe this. And we were both like so, yeah. See, like, it's so surreal. Like, we were both like on
Josh,
the
oh my God, you're never gonna believe it.
like we were both on the phone, like, bro, like, oh my God, like this is something rich people do. Like, we're about to bless somebody, bro. Like, it feels so good that we're about to bless somebody. And I'm like, bro, like this is something I've always wanted to do, you know? And I told Udi, I said, "Listen, man, I really appreciate you allowing me to be a part of this, my brother. Because, man, it's an experience to be involved in. It's this great opportunity. And I mean, it's still like right now, I just feel so for real with like surreal with what we have going on. In fact, that to think about in a couple weeks, we'll be getting on a plane to head out to wherever we need to head out to.
I mean, in the stories for anybody who knows, they're up on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So for anybody that wants to vote on these stories, read these stories. The stories are on my Instagram, which is J_superstar23. Once again, _superstar23. And they're also on Officer Udi's Instagram, which is simply Officer Udi. No underscore, anything like that. It's simply Officer Udi. Check him out on Instagram as well. The full stories are there. Read them. Take a vote on.
I mean, and they are each one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you two aren't having to choose. I'm glad you're letting people do it because there's no way.
And even some of the other stories we got, it's like so heartbreaking. And it's just like, wow. Like, I called Udi and I'm like, man, like, how words can we submit, man? Like, and he was like, bro, we, won. And I'm like, man, bro, like, I got like 3 stories right now that is like wrenching at my heart. And one story I just felt so obligated to reach out. And even though unfortunately her story wasn't able to be submitted for consideration, the car, I still reached out to her, and still plan on trying to help her in any way we can. And it's just a surreal feeling, to be completely honest. And
Well, I
I
think
just don't know.
what it does do is it shows you in the midst of all of this, the good people that are still out there, the good people that still want to help and still have great hearts and appreciate what you all are doing. I know I do, from the standpoint of a private citizen, from the standpoint of a mother, from the standpoint of just a good human being, and watching you all use your platforms to whether your platform is as an officer or on a social media platform, to reach people, to do something good and give back. So I cannot wait to see where the next one goes.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know if you guys saw it, but like I'm sure you'll see another video of me and Udi jumping around. Because I'm telling you, like, when get on that plane, there's probably me and Udi will probably be jumping around like a bunch of little boys. Like, oh my God, like we about to deliver. Yo, Udi, oh my God, like, it's probably just gonna be like a bunch of little characters, man. And I just can't wait. I really
Of that, you all need to film every single second of that.
Yeah,
so someday down the road, when you all have this huge nonprofit organization that is probably not that far off, that you can do a documentary.
Yeah, absolutely.
And share all this, how it all got started, because it's amazing. I could sit here and literally talk to you and listen to you talk forever. And I think that I'm probably going to have to let you go, or, I don't want you to be late for work tomorrow, but I don't want to close without telling everybody to make sure they check you out. Your website, and let me make sure I get it right, is Proverbs PM, as in production motivation.com. And you can buy merch there. There's the most amazing shirts there and hats. I need to know, in the picture of you in a suit and you're holding a camera, is it a Nikon or a Canon?
It's a Nikon. It's a Nikon D30 3100. Yeah.
All right. Well, then we can still talk. Yeah. I didn't want to ask in the beginning, because if it wasn't, then I was going to have to be like, bye. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's a Nikon.
Well, and my other half was we were trying to look at the picture. He's like, what kind of cameras he got? I'm like, I don't know. Does that matter?
It matters.
Yeah, it matters. It does matter. But, and if you all are not following him on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and every social media platform out there, make sure that you do. And it's Officer Scales on Facebook. Officer, is it underscore?
Are you talking about on Facebook or
on Facebook?
On Facebook, it's just Officer Scales.
Officer Scales, and then on TikTok
is Officer_Scales.
Officer_Scales, and then we've got the website, and all the links are up here too, and it's been going across the bottom. And also on Instagram was J_Superstar
23. Yeah, and I'm actually about to divert to Officer Scales, but for now it is J_Superstar 23.
Okay. So everybody, make sure you go and follow, like, share, subscribe. There's a YouTube channel too. There's everything out there, and then go head on over to Officer Udi's page and do the same thing. But go, because Officer Udi has 1.3 million followers right now. So let's go and get Officer Scales' numbers up.
I told him I'm chasing them.
I love you, Kevin, but I mean, I gotta help him out a little bit.
I'm chasing him. But so it's crazy though, because like, a lot of my followers have came over from Kevin, and I really appreciate his, his love. And it's crazy because like what they say is like, I can go to Kevin for laughs, but then I come to you for motivation. And then me and Kevin understand that. Like, like it's kind of like two punch. Like you get a laugh with Kevin, you come to me, you get some motivation. So it's just one of those things that I feel like God put me and Kevin together for a reason.
Absolutely. All in his time. I that's been the biggest lesson I've had to learn through my several years of being on this earth. It's all in his time, not in my time. Even though I want to rush things a whole lot sometimes. See, yeah, y'all are gonna be awful on this trip. We should, and we are going to have you all together soon on here. I'll probably just sit back and let you all take it.
Probably will. We'll probably go from talking seriously to joking on each other.
I'll just go get my coffee and have my coffee with the cups. Yep. What we got here?
I miss you guys too, Brian. I appreciate your support, man.
And then we got one more from Kevin Fuller here.
My boy Kevin. Hey, look. So let's talk about Kevin real quick. Okay. Kevin Fuller, that's my man. He a firefighter, and I ain't gonna give him no slack about that. But that's my man. He's probably one of the best guys I know. But there's nothing he wouldn't do. And I remember, cops and firefighters, they do their stuff. And I know firefighters like to drink White Claws and stuff like that. But, we're not going to talk about that. But I there's no doubt in my mind, if I needed something, if I was in danger, that man right there, Kevin Fuller, I think I saw Todd Ross out here. Man, there's no doubt in my that they would come. And they would come to my rescue, regardless of whether the scene's has been cleared or whatever. They're coming. They're coming, and I totally respect those guys, and I totally love those guys for that. So,
well, then you all need to work it out, and we need to do a firefighter versus cop, like fundraising challenge or something.
We can do that. We used to do boots versus badges back there, and so it was a boots versus badges softball game.
We need to figure something out. So
we can do that.
Y'all tell us, and we'll maybe we just need to drive the RV down and just participate with y'all.
Sounds like a great idea. It's a great idea.
Josh, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you for everything you do, for the daily motivationals, for the reminders that we're worth it. That it's I can't. I'm gonna thank you for sharing your story. Thank your mom for being in here and supporting you and sharing that story, because that had to be great to have her in here, even though she's not in front of you, to share that with us. We love you. And I told you before, and I'm not real hip on all the hashtags and stuff, but I told you that we have your all's back too. And what's the hashtag? I've got your 6 IGYS.
IGYS.
Yes.
6.
IGY6. Yes. We have your all's back. If there's ever anything that we can do, let us know. We appreciate each and every one of you. Please stay safe, and we love you guys. So
thank you guys for showing up and every one of my videos. I tell you guys every day, every week, and in every video that this is your life, this is your book, this is your story. It's grind time. Let's get it.
Oh, you kill me. Guys, make sure you check him out. Get those feel good motivationals every day, and some hard things you need to hear sometimes, but he'll tell it to you like it is, and then you can laugh later. So you can go over to Udi's page and laugh about it, but make sure you check them out, and hashtags Cops of TikTok, and you'll find all of them there too. So thank you. And you'll make sure you follow him. We will see you all later. Bye-bye. Okay.